Hey, welcome back to the worm and all that. Gotta get to work right this second. I got about 24 hours before the weather really turns. It has been gorgeous pretty much the whole last month. We've had a couple 1 and 2 day rainstorms, but it's been like this. It's perfectly calm, blue skies in the high 50s. Like it just couldn't be any better. So it's time to get back working on the cabin, see what I can get done. I just have a few things. One of these things is building stairs, which I don't want to do, but I'm running out of stuff to do on the outside. Pretty soon I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and build some stairs. We got it all sided, got it all caulked in. Doesn't that roof tar look nice? I think it looks great. Still got to put that fascia back on there. I left that off because I think it was the last video, I made these vents up here. Maybe it was a couple videos ago. But it was a lot easier to make, install, and caulk around those without the fascia on. I think I have mentioned a couple times, this fascia's only been on, let's see, I made that a month ago or something like that. And because it's on the, what would that be, south facing side of the cabin, it already got a little yellowed. It's not a big deal at all, but I don't know if you can tell. That's kind of yellow. It's yellow to here, and then this must have been stuffed underneath. See, it's pink that side, yellow that side. Maybe you can't tell. Doesn't matter. I am gonna get out the big old planer, and I figured since I was gonna do that, and since I need to weather seal this whole thing, might as well throw that fascia through the planer just to pretty it up. I do still need to use, I'm just using Thompson's water seal on this whole place. I don't know if that's a good idea, but it's what I have here. But I'm still waiting for this caulk to dry, this my roof tar. It's probably getting pretty close to dry, but I don't want to go to weather seal this stuff and roll over it and just have it make a bunch of black lines. So we got to wait on that. So I'm just going to trim out these corners, I don't know, a couple inches on either side. I'll use some pretty nice wood, because all I have left right now that I've got milled up, I'm not going to get the chainsaw out again just to make a couple pieces of trim. All I got left are really beautiful boards. And if I'm going to use that pretty lumber, I'm going to throw it through the miller just to see what happens. So let's see. Let's recap, Ryan. What are we doing right now? Going to make trim for the corners. Going to get out the giant planer, run that through, run the fascia through, put the fascia back up, put the corner trim on. Oh, that's the other thing. Since I'm getting the planer out too, I think I mentioned last video, I'm gonna throw my workbench in the man cave through the planer just to see what it looks like. What better way to test it out than this is, I can't remember if this is cedar or pine. I think this is cedar. And you can see, I mean, I just chainsaw milled it and then threw it on here. What was that, like a year ago or something? And it's got a bunch of garbage all over it and some burns and whatnot. So I'm super curious to see what it'll look like planed. And then I did buy a couple of different kinds of cheap varnish, but I got at least a gallon, maybe I got more, just to do all this kind of stuff. Everything inside the cabin. I can't believe I'm varnishing anything, but everything in there is going to be run through the planer, made exquisitely pretty, and then varnished just for something different to do. So I'm going to try that same varnish on that workbench. I can't believe I'm varnishing a workbench, but hey, I mean, what else am I going to do with my time? All right, let's see what we can find in the wood pile here for corner trim. Actually, you know what? I'll just use whatever boards are closest to that length. So we need 111, 9'3". I got like 100s and I got 140s. That's a bummer. I hate to chop a foot or two off of one of these long ones, but I don't really want to use scraps. I don't want to piece it together. I'd like them to be full length. Whew. Sounds like hunting season is upon us. Well, there's 4 boards. I guess that's what we're using. You know what I'm thinking? Just because I'm already trying to build this thing nice and wonky and unique like, I'll just take a board. You know, they taper because I chainsawed them right out of the tree. Maybe just rip them right down the middle and put them as a corner. They don't all have to be the same size, and then when you look at the corner of the building, it'll actually, the trim will come out a little bit. That'd look weird, right? Yeah, these are gorgeous. It's got some water on it, but kind of see how deep orange it is. Really pretty. Save the pretty ones for the front, I guess. All right. Just rip these down the middle. Woo. When I cut it, the boards went like this. Hopefully I can bend them back straight. Yeah, look at how much it tweaked. Open here, closed, all the way back open again. I should be able to nail it on there and just nail from the bottom, bend it over, nail it, bend it over, right? Right? Yeah, okay. All right, let's see. Something, well, I cut them way too long. Something like that, I guess, would be fine. Maybe we'll route the corners off or something. I think that'll work. I gotta trim the top because I did this all in a funky way, so the front and the back of the cabin aren't the same. Oh, it's actually because I put the siding on here and then the sides and then the front. So I got a little corner there I gotta cut around. No big deal, I just don't want to screw it up because I don't have any more of these boards. I guess I could always put a chunk in there if I screwed it. If I screwed the pooch. You know what would be kind of cool is where these two fit together if I route the seam so the seam goes down into it and then I caulk that line. Then on the side of the cabin you'd see the trim pieces and a black line right down the middle. I think I'm going to do that. Five 12 pitch. Did I do that right? Oh yeah, I did it right. I always do it right. Come on, give me a break here. Yep, that should be perfect. Oh, I'm getting roof tar all over everything. Oopsie. Yeah, that's gonna look great. And then I'm gonna mark this right here. Let's see, I'm gonna route that seam. I'll route the corner. I think I'll route everything. Do you see any reason why not? Is anybody up there? Hello. And then if this is routed in, that's where I can lay a nice bead of caulk right in there. That'll look kind of cool. Or should I just leave it like that? Gosh, I don't know. It is a pretty tight seam. Yeah, what the heck. This is the way you'd normally do it, so I'm not doing it that way. I'm gonna route it. It'll be kind of cool because it'll be the same routed angle as these. It'll look exactly like that, actually. But it'd be vertical. Yeah, let's do it. It'll match. Ever since I started routing backwards, I haven't burned out a single bearing on here. If you push into it the way you're supposed to use a router, this comes off in big long strings and wraps around the bearing and just fries it, burns it out, blows apart. So I have to go the opposite way, like let it kick back on you and then go back over it again to smooth it out. That's definitely a weird way to do it, but see that little groove in here? I think that'll look cool caulked. I don't know, maybe it won't. Yeah, it will. Well, I dug through my nail stash and I don't have nails that are long enough and galvanized, so we're just gonna use these anyway and double them up. You know, something I just thought of. And all the time I've been living out here, all I've done is build stuff, and this is the first time I've used a finish nail. This is the first time I've used a nail less than 3 inches long. Feels pretty weird. Still, I don't dare sink them all the way in. You'll never know. never know what you'll need to rip back apart. I got my little bitty hammer out. I'm choked all the way up on it, almost holding the head of the hammer, and I miss almost every single swing. These little tiny nails are worthless. You should always finish everything with 16-penny nails. You little skinny bastards. Jeez. Yeah, there's such a small difference in thickness. That's probably 3 inches. That's probably 2 at the top. I don't even think you'd ever notice it. But whatever. We know it, right? Got plenty of space to caulk here, and then we'll caulk right down there. It looks a whole lot better than this stuff. Can you tell the difference? Let's see, we're gonna route this side, both these sides, and this side. 6, 7, 8. No, bad, wrong. Damn it. This side gets cut out. Not that side. Don't cut that, dummy. This one's what? 512. That's the kind of thing I do all the time, is measure it, mark it just right, and then cut the wrong piece of the board off. Always make sure it fits first before you go pounding nails and routing edges. Yep, I did it backwards. Damn it. I wonder how I did that. I guess the white was supposed to be on the outside, not on the inside, but that's the way it is. Whoa. Thought it was going to be like this. Not like this. But that's how it is. No problem. Just got to make sure we route the right edges. I swear to God, stupid little nails. Okay. I just thought of why I don't nail these in. I was going to run these through the planer. Now that they're mostly nailed on, I'm thinking I'm just going to leave them like that. We'll plane everything else, because that has the same chainsaw finish as that, so yeah, that'll look good. All right, 2 more. Oh, they're going to be hard to nail at the top there because of that trim board. We'll figure it. Cut this part, dummy. Yeah, look how stringy this stuff is. This is going backwards. It comes off in like a beard. If you go forward, it's all one sheet. Crazy. Sounds just like a woodpecker pounding these in. I think that looks good enough. I'm just kind of making it up as I go here. All right, one more play with the planer. But a couple of these sticking way out. It's poor craftsmanship right there, folks. Let's grind it down. I'll probably fill the disc up with all sorts of tar, but oh yeah, I didn't put the trim all the way on the front here because I still haven't built the stairs. So this bottom piece of trim isn't nailed all the way in. Actually, I'm just gonna nail this all down because I was thinking I might have to take this piece of trim off in order to attach the stairs to the, what do you call, that's not a stringer, to the frame down there. But I've got a, I always call it a jiggle saw. You know, one of those saws that just goes like this on the end. So I could just cut that off wherever I need to. So I'm gonna go ahead and nail it all down. I really want to caulk all this in and be done with it. All right, that looks great. Excuse me. You know I'm satisfied with my work when I'm pounding nails all the way in. Let's do it. It's kind of scary. It's like real commitment. All right, I got 2 tubes of caulk warming up in here. See if they're, hopefully they're warm enough to come out of the tube. Oh yeah, it's toasty in here. Just had this on low. Oh yeah. Remember I bought a 3-pack of these tips a year or 2 ago. I was caulking something, might even have been this place. They're nice. They're, I don't know, it's just a few bucks. Screws onto a regular caulk tube. So when you're going like up in the top, you got an overhang coming down and you can't get the gun up there. You can just take this and bend it in with one hand and caulk that stuff in. Really handy, because a lot of times there's no way to do it without that. I don't know if you guys use disposable gloves like this. I use them all the time, and I always reuse them until they completely blow out. But there's a little trick: if you pull them off of your hand inside out, leave them like that to dry out, and then when you want to reuse them again, it's always hard to get your fingers in there. Give it a few shakes, squeeze the top. It's good to go again. I did that whole cabin with 3 gloves. One of them blew out. It's the same pair, but you know, they get caulk all over them and they're gross, but you leave them for a day or 2, the crap on them dries out and you can reuse them. I'm just full of good stuff, aren't I? It's kind of a mess. I should have cut this a little bit further in. There's a big old undercut under here. Just gonna make the line look not quite as straight. Guess it doesn't matter. Guess I might as well route the bottom of these too, huh? Whoa, bubble. Stupid bubbles. That was such a pretty bead too. I like the black line. I think it's cool. I know you don't care. I can hear y'all thinking, you better get done with that trim fast because I want to see you plane something. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm hurrying. Yeah, that black line looks sweet. It's just a little touch, you know, a little something. Something to make it look different from all the other cabins around here. Well, I guess there's nobody else out here. I know it's not the way this is done online these days, but let me point out my mistakes. I don't know if you can see the big blobs there. That's the one downside of this caulk. I mean, a lot of times caulk tubes have air bubbles in them, but man, when these come out, you just get like a huge blob and then it blows out. It's not too horribly bad. I mean, you never notice it once you back up, but there are some giant blobs some places. I don't know if you can see where that board was undercut there. You really have to pile a lot of caulk in the back of it. Why am I telling you this? I don't know. I gotta, you know, you guys are the only people I talk to all day, so I'm just gonna tell you what comes to mind. If I said this in a previous video, just tell me right now if you would. But it was funny, I think it was the birthday party week when Taryn showed up. He got here in like the evening, we had dinner. By the next morning I said, dude, I'm really sorry, but I can't talk that much. My throat's raw. I started to lose my voice just by the end of the day. And he said, man, me too. It's because I never talk to anybody. And I can spend a month out here, you know, a phone call, maybe one a week or something, 2 a week for a short time, and talking to the camera, and that is absolutely it. I don't talk otherwise. So my throat's out of practice. But I'm glad I have you guys to talk to. I would be an absolute mute by now. You know what else I like about you guys? You don't ever talk back. You don't ever say, hey, you're doing that wrong. Why would you do it that way? That's my kind of friend. Yeah, this is exactly what this is good for. I'm just trying to, this isn't going to get much water, but I want to keep the bugs out if I can. You know what's funny about being this far north is it's midday right now, not even near the shortest day of the year. And look how high the sun is off the horizon. That's noon 30. That's the peak. Not up there like in the summer. You touch it somewhere, you don't know where, and then, oh yeah, right there. Get it all over everything. Holy cow, it feels like it's 80 degrees out here. I just looked at the thermostat, 62, but perfectly still and sunny. It's gorgeous. All right, I don't know where I'm gonna put this thing. I was thinking about just setting it on the floor in here. Although some of the boards I'm going to feed through here I don't think would fit just in here, and it's going to shoot sawdust everywhere. Not that that matters so much, but maybe we can put it on that stump out there. Well, this isn't quite level and it's not a good long-term solution, but for today it ought to work. Good Lord, that sucker's heavy. Yeah, that'll be all right. You put a couple screws in it or something. All right, let's go rip something apart. I think this will all come off with just a couple screws. I don't think I've screwed anything into the bottom. I guess we'll see. Holy cow. Need some earmuffs. That is definitely... It's kind of why I just always wear this helmet. Nice. Yeah, those are beastly. Must be 2 inches. Just looking to see. Yeah, I don't think it makes any difference here what the thickness of the tabletop is. And over here, doesn't seem to matter either, as long as they all come out the same. So, obviously I don't need the bottom of these planed perfectly smooth, but apparently my understanding is you want to feed them both through at the same time, not just plane one and then plane the other. You also just want to go back and forth, because if you have like a cupped board, you don't want to just try to plane one side of it or it won't sit in there quite right. At least that's what I gained from a chat with my dad about this. So let's see, we'll just do these two, and assuming it works out, we'll go get the other ones. That was pretty satisfying, pretty fun. I had to run it through there, I don't know, 5 times per side, but I'm barely taking any bite out of it, because at least this end is almost, it must be 12 inches. It's almost as wide as you can fit through there, so can't take a giant chomp out of something that wide. But wow, that was great. Let's go put it back in. Oh, you know what I should maybe do is maybe I'll run the router over the edges of these too. And maybe I'll try not to jam them in the dirt like that. Wow, that's pretty considerably different. You probably can't tell, it's kind of weird light in here, but I guess I could have slowed it down too if I was making an actual table or something that wasn't a workbench. You can switch the planer to a lower speed. It goes, I think, at half speed. It should come out a little bit smoother. And of course, if you're really nuts, you could sand it and all that, but not a chance. Yeah, let's just route the edges of these off real quick. I'm not sure how the router will run along this because the edge is kind of bumpy. Oh, what the heck, let's do it. So let's do this, this, and that side. Oh, and this one. Yep, that looks nice. Very nice. Oopsie. Dove a little bit. Wow, that doesn't look like something that came out of ringworm. There's actually, I think because this board is a lot wider, there's quite a bit of cupping, and that's why you can see there's still some chainsaw marks there. So it's cupped this way, and I guess the wider the board, the more cupping you're prone to get. This one wasn't bad at all, but they did come out pretty much exactly even there. There's a little bit of sway from one end of the board to the other because there's only a support here and a support down there. That's kind of why I did fat boards so I don't have to worry about it too much. Also because these are dried out now, I'm sure they shrunk. I'm sure I'll end up with a crack in the middle there once I put the screws back in. But that's all good. I think it looks great. Can't wait to throw some varnish on it. All right, let's rip this sucker off. I guess we'll do all four at the same time. All right, you want to see it before? Just so you can compare it afterwards. Here's the before. Actually, here you go. You can see the difference right here. Before, after. It's pretty nice. So here's the used table. This is the bottom of it. Looks like the yellow is probably from the sunlight, huh? I wonder if this is, or maybe I sprayed some gun oil on it or something. They look sweet. Let's route them and throw them in. Yeah, I love the sapwood you can see on the corner there on both sides. It's really cool. It's a nice slice of lumber there. Is pretty. Don't touch it. Hey, don't touch it. Careful. I don't want any fingerprints on this. Holy moly. How nice is that? Quite pretty. It's only the deepest dents I put in there that are still there. As much as I want to put varnish on it right now, I'm gonna go do that fascia real quick before it gets dark. Where is that stuff? Oh, You know what? If I got time, just for absolutely no reason, I'm gonna stick that through the planer. It's a little dirty, but I just want to see what it would look like all cleaned up. The only other time I've had this planer out, you guys saw, was the kind of unboxing it. I stuck that one piece of garbage aspen through it. A wood that I've been calling garbage for all the time I've been out here. I just use it for floors and roof sheathing and stuff like that. Put one little garbage piece through the planer and it was like jaw drop gorgeous. So I think that's, I'm pretty sure that's just a square of aspen. We could stick it through there and see what it looks like. All right, let's feed these suckers through, put them up, and then we'll do some varnishing. I actually have no idea why I'm putting this through here other than I think it would be fun. I just want to plane it, okay? Back off. Damn it. Weird, I didn't drop it that much. Oh, it tripped the generator, pulling too many amps. I dropped it the same amount I did with all the rest of that stuff. I wonder why it bit in so much. Strange. Yeah, just shut the generator off. I think this is 1800 watts running. That's 15 amps. So yeah, that'd be right at the maximum when it's really bogged down. Try it again. Yeah, it does look like a pretty solid cut. I mean, not that much. Huh. Well, lots to learn. Oh, that was seriously fun. Yeah, this generator's not quite enough power. You have to take the smallest little nip off of there. Actually, now that I think of it, if I was doing floorboards for this like I want to do, a whole bunch of aspen boards, let them dry on the floor, take them off, plane them, and put them back down. Especially aspen, after it's dry, I wonder if it's even going to go through there. I mean, it'll take a long time. I guess I can slow it all the way down and just make it so it's barely nipping it. So I looked over on that last feed and the generator didn't kick off, but it was flashing. There's a exclamation point, like, look out, dumb, you're doing something bad. So it's kind of maxing it out, but whatever. Okay. These are going to be way too nice for the side of the cabin. They definitely don't match. Look how freaking bright they are. Like gleaming white compared to that. Well, the only reason this is orangier is that it's I milled it a couple of weeks ago, so these fascia boards will oxidize a little bit before I get around to sealing them. Yeah, I just thought of, this is the very last thing to do on the outside. This is it. Throw these 4 boards up and we can start working on the inside, start putting insulation in and stuff. Didn't really have the right screws as usual, or nails, so I found these deck screws. I want to be able to pull this down because certainly at some point I want to get to those vents or maybe caulk it in or whatever. I always like to be able to take stuff back apart, as you know, so screws it is. Looks pretty great. I'm glad I did it like that. Didn't square the boards up. You probably can't tell from this angle, but it starts off about a foot in height and goes down to about 6 inches here. And of course, like everything, I leave the raw edge on it, the live edge. Yes. Well, there you have it. What do you think of my cabin? It might only be a couple decades that I live here. You just never know what the future will hold. I'm incredibly happy with this. It feels so good to have everything on the outside done. Oh, not everything. Water seal. Got to put the sealer on. I'll do that in maybe a couple weeks. But holy schmoly, does that all look great? Wouldn't you say? It's kind of astounding what you can do on your own with really just a minimum of tools. It's not been until real recently that I started getting bigger tools out here, but battery powered hand tools, you know, and a screwdriver and hammer and that kind of stuff, and chainsaw and a mill. You build one of these. When I get this finished up, I'll try to put together a list. I'm curious to see how much I've spent on this. I originally wanted to try to do it for under $1,000. If you subtract out the heater, because the heater was 800 bucks or something. Without the heater, I bet I'm probably about the $1,000 mark. You know, that's mostly trying to buy boxes of nails and stuff like that from the used building store, using, you know, roof tar instead of the proper caulk to close the whole thing in. Used windows. Well, one of the windows was new, but the other two were real cheap. Oh, and I did buy that door new because I couldn't find what I was looking for any other place. So yeah, when I get this kind of finished up, we'll put it all together and see what the grand total is. But if this is something you think you'd like to do, which I know there are a lot of people out there that think it'd be cool just to disappear into the woods, buy a small piece of property, build yourself a cabin. I mean, I don't have that much experience. I mean, certainly not building this exact kind of thing, but you know, when you look at it like one giant project, like you see a finished house and just go, oh, I don't know how to do that. Yeah, but you could probably figure out from the very beginning, you know, especially with YouTube, you can look up like how to make a foundation, how to frame a floor, you know, how to run a chainsaw mill, all that kind of stuff. And you just go little by little. I think when you don't look at it as one big project, you just go piece by piece. It's totally doable, especially 200 square feet. Most people aren't going to take off and do this alone, and a lot of people have a lot more knowledge about building with this kind of stuff. You know, you're doing this with somebody else, you can certainly do it in the summer. Just, you know, just think about it. All right, what do we got left? Oh, I got to clean up. Oh, yeah, I really wanted to run that block through there. I'm kind of out of time for the day. I still have to put that varnish on, and I kicked that around. There's a lot of dirt embedded in it. So maybe at some point I'll take another log off the pile here and just hack it into a square with the chainsaw. We'll run it through there just to see what it looks like. All right, hold tight. I gotta clean this stuff up. Do you want to clean it up? No? Okay. Actually, I'll clean up in a little bit. While there's still light, let's put some varnish on those workbenches. I'll show you what I found here. As always, this was not well researched. I got some of the cheapest stuff I could find. Water-based polyurethane. Oh, it's satin. Well, I guess we'll see what satin looks like on that workbench. This is interior. I like water-based stuff. It's just easier to work with. And then I got one jug of this. Spar urethane is pretty hard stuff, and it's oil-based. Sucks to work with, but I think it'll be good for outside. Yeah, this is just exterior. I mean, whatever. It'll do, or it won't, but it probably will. I got this 1 gallon thing because, dang, it sucks that it's satin. Yeah, I was thinking I would use this on all the inside of the cabin, on everything in there. Well, I'll put it on. Everything will need a couple coats anyway, so if it doesn't look good, if it's not, you know, doesn't make everything pop enough, then I could use this for a first coat and use something else for a second coat. Whoa. Is this supposed to be that milky? Huh. What the heck? I shook it and stirred it. It's not at all what I expected. It would be all milky like that. Well, I'm assuming it'll clear up. I guess I was definitely thinking more gloss. Well, whatever. It's kind of fun painting with milk. Could you hold that light for a sec? Hold it. Take it. Gotta tip it out. Make sure you take the time to tip it out just right. You screw up the whole project. All right, that'll do it. See if I can actually let it dry before I screw it up, put all my stuff back on it. Maybe I'll get some fans out. Because, I mean, where am I going to eat my dinner? Actually, it's warm enough still I can eat my dinner outside. We'll let it dry. Take a look at it tomorrow. Oh man, I had to get up early to beat this storm, and it's mostly blue skies. Weather is really something, isn't it? These tables look amazing. The finish is actually pretty nice. As always, you put the first coat on, then you gotta sand it. It's a little rough, but it's really pretty. I made coffee in here this morning like I usually do. Got a little bit on there and it doesn't wipe off, so this might be good for all the walls in the cabin, but it's not really the kind of finish you want on tables. So maybe I'll do the oil-based stuff on the tables themselves in there. But they sure are a lot prettier than they were. Oh, I got a lot more stuff to put away before it rains. Thanks for watching. What's up next? Yes. I think I'm probably gonna have to build stairs. I'll get a couple bags of concrete and make some kind of footings down here. Maybe just one footing. And this should probably come out a ways. It should probably be yay wide, but I don't really care. I think I'm just gonna make some kind of a square there. And in order for it to be fun, I think I'm gonna make it all out of logs. When I cut down these cedar trees, or any trees for these big projects, it's always the poles that are maybe 6 inches diameter or less. I just throw them aside if they're real straight, thinking I'll build something out of them. I can't really usually find good uses for them, but maybe I'll frame this whole thing with logs, because man, I have a ton of them. Everywhere you go on the property out here, there's another pile of perfectly straight, like 15-foot cedar, spruce, and fir logs. So that'll be kind of cool. Might do that. Maybe I kind of have to see what I've got around here. I'm interested to see how this aspen would do for flooring out in the rain, because you guys know there's tons of aspen out here that needs to be milled up. So maybe, yeah, maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll make the floor out of aspen, probably run it through the planer just to make it pretty. Could put a bunch of coats of that sealer that I'm going to use on the side of this thing on it. I don't know, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll just make it out of cedar. I'll see what I got around here. And as soon as that's done, I got all my insulation in here, so ooh, it's got a nice echo. We'll start throwing insulation in it. As soon as the insulation's in, I think I'm just gonna put wall boards on the bottom of this, just maybe below this window over, because then I can throw that heater in here. Once the heater's in, this place is kind of usable. So that'll be what, maybe a couple weeks, which is, I think in the next week or so, we've got some days and some nights in the 20s. I don't know if you know this, but water freezes under like 30 something, I can't remember. but I'll drag some 5-gallon buckets of water in here just in case we get a nice deep freeze. I'll still have some water that I can run through the filter for drinking, use for showering if I have to. Anyway, that's exciting. Oh, that's kind of cool. Look at these little vents that I made the other day. Be kind of cool if you could continue to see those, but they'll all be packed with insulation. You know, I was just telling Tito the other day, the one thing I kind of wish I did, although if I could do it over, I wouldn't have just because it's so much more work. I kind of wish I put a skylight in here. I mean, it's not that big a place, but it's only got the 3 windows. I think in the winter it is going to be pretty dark. It'd be pretty sweet to have gotten, I don't know if I'd buy a used skylight. There sure are a lot of them at the used building store kind of places. Maybe I'd just buy a new one, but I can still do that. It's actually not really that hard to put them in, especially if I got one that, you know, I'd only have to move one of these rafters out of the way if it just fit in between right there or something. Come on back next week. We'll build something, probably stairs. And in order to make it fun for me and enjoyable for you to watch, we'll make them just weird enough. Something a little out of the ordinary. Thanks for watching.